Hello grapplers and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna talk about Tekken. I really need to talk about the current experience of Tekken. Everything that is related to how the game plays, why so many bad reviews. I'm gonna give you the straight information so you know, even if you don't play Tekken, you know what's going on with this game. It's one of my favorite fighting games, so I really care about this franchise, the same way I care about Street Fighter. I'm gonna tell you a little bit of my experience, also mixed up with the general consensus. When I first tried to launch the game, I had this issue, or something similar to this issue. It's from a user from Reddit. I had the same issue, so the game couldn't start. My antivirus was taking basically the .exe as a virus, and it was deleting the file constantly, so I couldn't play it. So I had to manually go and basically greenlight freaking launcher so I could actually play the game. I don't know if this has happened to any other people, but this is the start of my Tekken 8 journey. If you take a look at the current reviews of Tekken, you'll see that it's mostly negative due to the announcement of this, the Tekken Shop. Depending on how you look at the customizations in Tekken games, this might be really annoying to you. In the past, you could do a lot with your characters, especially Tekken Tag 2, Tekken 5, even Tekken 6 had really good customizations for your characters. Now a lot of those items are being sold through the Tekken Shop, and they're fully costumes. That means you cannot change the hoodie of Jin. You have to use the entire costume. It's also a little bit limiting in terms of how you want your characters to look. This did not fit well with the community. Now, to be fair, if we go into the game even, you'll notice that you can get a few things for free. All of this on top. Amazing items on top. And even the ones below are really lackluster. So it's not something Tekken needed, and it's also something that doesn't add anything to the game. Frankly, it sucks. And I already reached the final point, and there's nothing else for me to unlock. I mean, you're getting this for a premium pass. It is not great. A lot of these items were free in the previous game, so that's also pretty annoying. He has changed his stance around Tekken 8, but this was fairly recent. Me, the GOAT, was not actually having fun with Tekken 8. Now, if you look at his profile, you look at his recent tweets, he's enjoying Tekken 8. But at this point, he was truly hating the game, and he was not the only one. There were a lot of, specifically pro players, and also some casual players. We're gonna dwell into that a little bit. They were not liking the aggression of the game, and in some way this also relates to how the game is currently being played. If you take a look at the EVO Japan, which is happening right now at the moment of recording, we have barely over 1,200 players compared to Street Fighter, which is bigger in Japan, I have to say, so take that with a grain of salt. So we're certainly seeing some patterns over here in relation to Tekken. Issues with the game, a monetization system that is not required or no one asked for, and also the game is feeling kinda boring and extremely offensive oriented. The hit system is both a good thing and a bad thing. The activation is completely safe. It's even plus on block and plus on hit. This has a lot of armor. It's crazy. You can stop the offensive of an opponent doing just this, and you're gonna be +1, +2, you take the turn back. That is the first problem. These moves have a lot of tracking. Probably they're way too strong, but that is just the activation. What happens with the actual hit smash? And I have to say, almost all of them have issues in some way or another. For example, in the case of Jack 8, he has a 10 frame hit smash, which is frankly absurd. You have characters like Dragunov, a hit smash that actually tracks way too much. Or you even have King. This guy is +12, and this is a true mix-up. It's either a grab, a low, a mid. Almost all of them are safe, except for the grab, which is a high, but you cannot take it. There's a huge possibility you're gonna eat some kind of damage after getting the on-block version of any hit smash. There are some characters who have really bad hit smashes, like Brian, for example, and some characters just don't benefit from the hit system at all, like Shaheen. He has some really bad hit engagers. Let's take a look at the hit engagers now that we mentioned Shaheen. Dragunov is a great example to show you a little bit of an issue with hit engagers. There are some that make sense. In the case of Dragunov, for example, he can hit engage with back 4-3, This makes sense for him, and this happens to, for example, Lash or Dragunov. They have strings that were previously unsafe. For example, he's +5 after 1-2-1, and that's a high mid-mid. It jails, so basically you are eating that +5. This is, at first, this doesn't look so bad. It's just a +5. It's not that huge of a deal. Well, what if you're in the corner? +18. They took an unsafe move and made it +5 if you block it with the hit system, but if you're in the corner, that is +18. That is frankly absurd. Several characters have previously unsafe moves turned into hit engagers, and all of them give really good frames. This is one of the issues why people feel the game is being extremely aggressive, because the hit system allows for it. This is not all bad. The hit system has some really good ideas. For example, at first when Tekken was announced, everyone was thinking about the chip damage. Oh no, chip damage. That's gonna be awful. But as you can see here, I'm not doing any kind of chip damage. How do you get some chip damage without going into hit? You have to use specific moves. It's not that extreme. If you have the hit engage, every move deals hit damage, but the frame data doesn't change. It's not something that was that crazy as people made it out to be at first. The hit activation and some hit engagers and some hit smashes are way more broken than the gray health. In fact, I'd say one of the good things about the hit system is how you take your health back. If you land this move, you take a lot of health back. If you do a really long combo, for example, the game sadly is not structured that way. If you do a really long combo, you can recover more health than just a short one. So you can quote-unquote sacrifice damage for health. Sadly, the game how it is at the moment, there's no reason for you to go for any kind of smaller combo. You just prefer to have the longest one because all of them deal a lot of damage and the corner carry is kind of absurd. And there are some things that don't work that well, like this stage. If you get a wall splat in this stage, you bounce back, it's even more damage, so it's very easy for some characters like even Dragunov to take you from one side to the other and then to the other side and you just die. That's a big problem. So the whole system has issues that can be fixed with frame data, changes to the frame data. They need to make this either 0 or minus. We have a lot of pushback. And on hit it should be +1 at best. And all the hit smashes need to be toned down. +6 is way too much in general. It should be +1, +2 at best. And that's for every single hit smash in the game. And also they need to tone down the hit engagers, especially in the corner, because they give way too much frames. So we need to talk about throws. Throws in this game have tracking to both sides. That means even the regular throws, which you'll see are between 12 frames, 14 frames regularly, and some throws are faster, like King's Giant Swing. See that it's very common for even top players to get grabbed all the time, and that is because they're used to sidestep or sidewalk throws. That is no longer the case, so you have to duck a lot in this game. That opens you up for really strong mids, like even Dragunov. That's one of the reasons why Dragunov is so strong in this game. He has good mids, and mids that are safe, or he has cancels and stuff, which are not really comfortable for the opponent to block. The power crushers don't work that well in this game. You get a power crush by itself, almost all of them are minus or they're highs, so there's a way to deal with them. The issue is, if you press a button and they power crush it, they either are safe or they hit you with it. There are some power crushers that are more spammable than others, so you have Warang or even King who can really spam the power crushes and you have no space to counterattack. You're just constantly blocking. They obviously lose their turn, but they can do it again, or they can backdash, do it again, so it's very, very annoying. I haven't mentioned some hit smashes in particular, like Devil Jin. You cannot have a hit smash that basically tracks and he launches himself into the opponent. It is nuts. So the current system is not working that well. There are some inconsistencies in terms of hitboxes, hurtboxes, but that's mostly Tekken. Tekken is never consistent with those things. However, in the corner, they revert back, so I'm not gonna show you the weird stuff that happened during a few weeks in the corner. But currently, there's still some issues in the corner. That basically means sometimes you cannot wall splat, your combos with. It's very common, for example, with King. Even though he's a top tier in this game, it's very common for him to whiff the combo ender in the corner. Its smashes also produce balcony breaks, floor breaks. It's way too much for a move that you get by pressing 2 buttons. The balancing in the game is not the best. There are some really strong and abusable things, but again, that is mostly frame data. They can change it if they want to, and I believe they will. And the final problem is the netcode. Netcode / the players. There are a lot of one and dones. I'm not particularly against one of dones. I really don't care. And some people just don't want to play the rematch. It's okay. I don't care that much. The issue is the netcode and the players, but this is mostly for PC players. There's a lot of PC players who are playing this game with the wrong setup, and it shows, and it's awful. They really hurt the ranking experience or the online experience overall. The bottom right corner has 2 bars, 2 green bars. The left one is yours, the right one is the opponent. If the opponent one or yours goes to red, it means the PC is struggling somehow. This game, even if you play that low, you're not within what the game expects you to have as a PC, you will struggle. So basically it doesn't matter if you play on the lowest settings if your PC is just not up to handling this game. Then you have the connection. The game itself doesn't have a good netcode, and on top of that, some players really have awful connections. It's a mix of players, the netcode, it's a mess. The online experience in this game is awful so far. More or less, that's why Tekken 8 is how it is at the moment. They can certainly fix this game. There's a lot of potential for this to be the best Tekken ever, but they need to double down on the hit system, and that is something, as Capcom with the drive system, that is not something I think they want to do, because there is a future patch coming. So we should receive a patch after EVO Japan, and that will be the big one. This has been the kind of like a negative review, but I want to give you the experience of why people think this game needs improvement. Not the topic of today, but I do love a bunch of things about Tekken 8. As always, if you like this video, please hit subscribe. It really helps the channel. Take care as always. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye. Keep playing grapplers. Bye bye.